All right, KeNikka, the media has issued their grades for the Bears draft, and we are talking about it right now.
Hi, welcome back to World of the Psychic.
You are the future.
Give me the prophecy.
It is the future you see.
It's about the future, isn't it?
The future looks good.
Yes, indeed, this is Bear Prophecy on the KeNikka Sports Channel. But first, it's time to jump.
Might as well jump. Go ahead, jump.
If this is your first time here, we are asking you to please jump on into the channel and take the plunge with us, everybody. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and yes, don't forget to ring that bell for our official mascot, Frexie. Check out that little puppy. She is just adorable and bringing so much joy into both of our lives and hopefully yours too at home.
Thank you.
Well, without further ado, the grades are in on this year's Bears draft, and let's get into it. Let's start with the NFL official website. This is Chad Reutter, draft analyst, and here's what he had to say. The Bears get an A- from the NFL.
Hell yeah!
An A-, and the individual grades by day went day 1 A, day 2 B+, and day 3 B. Thieneman is an easy fit with the Bears in the first round because his athleticism, toughness, and versatility will fill a hole in the secondary left by departed free agent Kevin Byard. Chicago picked the best center in the draft in round 2.
The Bears.
And that was, of course, Logan Jones from Iowa. Jones should remind fans of prior starter Drew Dalman. Well, we like that because we were really sad that Drew Dalman decided to retire at the age of 27.
You got to do what you got to do.
Indeed. The trade of veteran receiver DJ Moore to Buffalo puts pressure on 2025 second-round pick Luther Burden III and Xavier Thomas, a surprising third-round choice, to replace that production. Sam Roush was a good value in round 3 as a future starter with solid receiving and blocking skills. Malik Muhammad's athleticism and toughness made him a steal in round 4. Selecting Keyshawn Elliott made sense for the Bears since 2023 fifth-round pick Noah Sewell is recovering from a torn Achilles. Jordan Vandenberg, a native of South Africa, is an excellent athlete and meets the team's need for defensive line depth. The Bears did not use any picks on edge rushers or offensive tackles this year, despite their need at those positions. The Bears get an A- from the NFL, and they do point out that the Bears did not get an edge rusher here.
It's a damn shame. A damn shame.
And this continues to be the biggest criticism out there. And I'm sure it's not the last time we'll hear about that as we read through some of these reviews. But as you can tell, the NFL really didn't have a lot of negative things to say about any of the players that they drafted. And we're also noting that a lot of them are very athletic.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Let's move on to the 4-letter network, as I used to call it when I was a kid. That is ESPN. This is the headline 2026 NFL draft grades for 32 teams, winners, losers, steals. This was written by, you guessed it, the one, the only, Mel Kiper Jr., everybody. Let's see what Mel had to say. Never short on words, Mel Kiper. Now, he notes the top needs entering the draft were edge rusher, defensive tackle, safety, center, and wide receiver. And the Bears get a B from Mel Kiper Jr. on their draft.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Chicago was the only NFL team to not draft a defensive player in round 1 between 2019 and 2025. Now, I got to cut you off already, Mel, because we've talked about this. 3 of those years, the Bears didn't even have a first-round draft pick. So you can't just make that statement without giving the full context. Am I wrong?
Oh, no, you absolutely spot on. He's in the wrong.
That is one big pile of shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think
He's mudding
more
the
context
waters.
is needed.
Yes, absolutely.
It made 5 day 1 selections over that span, and all of them played offense, including 2 QB picks. Yeah, notice how he kind of said 7 years there and 5 picks, and 2 of them, by the way, were Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze that were in the same year. So as you can tell, my math was spot on.
Yes.
4 years of first-round picks, 3 years without. The good news, question mark, it eventually worked. The Bears were top 10 in offensive points per game, yards per play, and EPA last season. The first rounders cooked. Quarterback Caleb Williams broke out and showed some of the generational talent we saw when he was coming out of USC in 2024. Receiver Rome Odunze and tight end Colston Loveland were major players of the passing game, and right tackle Darnell Wright was steady in protections. Mel, Rome Odunze was hurt for a lot of the year. Now, he had a hot start, I'll give you that, but
who cares?
in his mind. The bad news, question mark. The defense lagged behind a little, held up by an unsustainable penchant for creating turnovers, 33 most in the NFL. Hell yeah! Chicago managed just 35 sacks, tied for 22nd, without an edge rush running mate for Montez Sweat, and opponents averaged 5 yards per run. That was 29th in the NFL. The Bears changed out Tremaine Edmonds and for Devin Bush in free agency, and the secondary took a big hit with multiple starters heading elsewhere. Time for a first-round change, even if this day one selection was much later than Chicago had become accustomed to picking. Dillon Thieneman was a great get at number 25. Coordinator Dennis Allen can move him all over the place. Deep safety, in the box, out wide, over the slot. He's an instinctive player who had a 6-interception season in 2023 while still at Purdue before transferring to Oregon. And he should help make up for some of the on-ball production lost in the free agency exodus in the secondary. Let's not forget Kobe Bryant, who we signed as our biggest spending free agent.
Show me the money!
The rest of the class was slightly up and down. Logan Jones, my top-ranked center, looks like the perfect Drew Dahlman replacement. Yes, the Bears traded for Garrett Bradbury, but I wanted to see Chicago make a long-term move there, and Jones is already essentially a seasoned pro with 51 career starts. At receiver, general manager Ryan Poles went down the board a little bit for Xavier Thomas. He was a clear day 3 guy. Yeah, a lot of people feel like the Bears made a reach with Xavier Thomas in the 3rd round with the 89th overall pick. To wrap up what Mel Kiper Jr. says here, potentially most important in all of this is Chicago not looking at edge rusher or defensive tackle until Jordan Vandenberg at number 213. Chicago needed someone opposite Sweat and didn't get it. And while I heard some day 3 sleeper love for Vandenberg, he's a depth guy. Yeah, we'll wait and see, Mel. You know, coaching matters.
Good, better, bad! Good, better, bad!
We might not see the full long-term payoff for Jordan Vandenberg until closer to the end of next season, maybe. But, you know, he's a 6th-round draft pick, guys. Like, you can't be expecting everyone to come in and start day 1 for you, okay?
Don't tell that to Mel.
All right, well, that's ESPN. One of the longer grading reviews that we got, but nevertheless, I thought it was some fun, entertaining stuff there from Mel Kiper Jr.
Are you not entertained?
Shooting from the hip, as always. Rob Rang from Fox NFL, and he gives the Bears a B+, KeNikka. The NFL draft is all about value, and few teams added more of that in the 1st round than Chicago, stealing a future Pro Bowl caliber safety in Dillon Thieneman at number 25 overall.
The Bears! Ah, the Bears!
That's really nice to hear. I'll take that. Pro Bowl all day, every day. We'll take it. Center Logan Jones wasn't perhaps quite as economical a selection at number 57 overall. I think he'll start as a rookie with the mentality and rugged playing style to protect as a long-term anchor inside. Similarly, Stanford tight end Sam Roush isn't flashy, but I like his physicality and underrated receiving skills as a nice complement to last year's star rookie Colston Loveland. Speaking of compliments, don't be surprised if speedy wideout and returner Xavier Thomas winds up producing better numbers in Ben Johnson's wide-open attack than he did at the collegiate level. Ooh, imagine that, KeNikka. Maybe a coach in the NFL saw something in a player that a college team wasn't fully utilizing. Imagine that.
Good, better, bad! Good, better, bad!
I also really like the value Chicago got on day 3 with cornerback Malik Muhammad and linebacker Keyshawn Elliott. The former lacks ideal bulk, but he has legitimate cover talent, and the latter has the physicality and closing speed to boost a Bears linebacker core needing an upgrade of both. The Bears already have 2 of the fastest linebackers in the league, buddy, DeMarco Jackson and Devin Bush. I think you might want to go back and check your numbers.
I got a lot of problems with you people!
Who wants to do the research, you know?
I love how they just all shoot from the hip to get this content out so quickly, and yet they forget that those of us like myself that read almost everything about the Bears that comes out from all the media, I keep track of these things.
They leave it to AI to do their research.
I'm sorry I exist.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Let's move on to CBS. 2026 NFL draft team grades are in. Full report cards for all 32 clubs by Carter Bonds. I found this JPEG on this headline to be hilarious because, 5 teams are missing, as we noticed earlier, KeNikka. I totally think AI made this graphic, even though it says CBS Sports Design underneath it. If someone did actually make this graphic, sorry, not sorry. This is some horrendous work. Absolutely horrendous. AI could probably do better. CBS gives the Bears a B-, and here's what Carter had to say. The Bears had not taken a defensive player in the first round since 2018. Here we go again. Another one that doesn't provide the context, which was the longest stretch of any team. Ouch. You don't just do your research.
Exactly. They rely on the AI to write this stuff, and they don't even double check.
I wouldn't be surprised anymore.
Wow.
The expectation was that the streak would end, but the question was whether they would address the defensive front or continue to rebuild their secondary after a free agent exodus. The latter came to fruition when Dillon Thieneman was available to them at number 25. He is an immediate starter for a team with a hole at safety. The front, meanwhile, had to wait until day 3 for help. Logan Jones is a less conventional pick, to say the least. Verner gave it a D+ because of Jones's weaknesses in pass protection. Yes, he will help Chicago maintain its opposing run game and will have time to develop behind Garrett Bradbury, but that makes it even more questionable. Why use second-round capital on a backup center, especially when better options were on the board? And I just have to say, this is noticeably different than some of the other reviews we've heard. We've already heard Logan Jones mentioned as an immediate starter, and now we have
A project.
Carter talking about him as not being ready to
Yes.
start and a project that needs to develop under Garrett Bradbury. I don't know if I agree with this. I think by all intents and measures, Logan Jones might compete for the starting job on day 1.
So we're gonna have tryouts.
Whether or not that happens, he is the long-term center of the future for the Chicago Bears team. And that is something that we got checked off the list in
Yes.
this draft, at least as of right now. No guarantees in life,
Of course.
but you like where it's going. At face value, the Sam Roush pick also looks strange considering Colston Loveland is already on board, but Roush is a blocker by trade and will not step on Loveland's toes. It's an excellent acquisition for a team looking to further flex its run game ability and was the Bears' best pick of the first 3 rounds.
The Bears.
We have a little bit of a mixed review here. They didn't love the Logan Jones pick, which is kind of contrary to some of my belief and others' belief. But Sam Roush is slowly becoming a universally liked pick by a lot of analysts, even though the fan base was jumping off the bridge.
Oh, the dust settled, and now we can go and do some actual research.
Well, look, the Bears run something called 12 and 13 formation, which basically means they will either have 2 in 12 or 3 in 13 formation tight ends on the field at once. And that means you're going to see Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, and Sam Roush all on the field together, everybody. And guess what? Defenses are going to have to wonder, like, well, who's going to run the route? Who's blocking? Who's going to catch the ball?
Yeah.
Who's this play designed for? Where's the deception?
Yeah.
Is somebody going to stay in and block and then all of a sudden run out for a pass at the last minute and have that kind of... I mean, there's so many options you can do out of this. Plus, let's not forget, you can run the ball. You can put people in motion and change direction in which way you're going to run the... I love this so much, and I think this is really underestimated. Ben Johnson's a madman, folks. Next up, we got Sports Illustrated 2026 NFL Draft Grades, analysis of every team's picks. And Matt Verderame and Gilberto Manzano, this is what they gave the Bears. NFC North, B-.
Oh,
KeNikka.
another B-. Okay.
And here's the analysis. Suddenly, the Bears have a versatile group of safeties and plenty of depth in the secondary. Thieneman will partner with free agent addition Kobe Bryant. Thank you for mentioning that, by the way, one of the first, who found his footing after moving from cornerback to safety in Seattle. If Chicago can find another quality cornerback, this could be one of the league's better secondaries in 2026. Hell yeah! I like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps Muhammad can fit that need. That's Malik, our 4th round draft pick. But he's going to need to work his way up the depth chart. On the downside, the Bears failed to add more talent on the defensive front. Montez Sweat is their lone reliable edge rusher, and he will turn 30 in September. And I just got to disagree slightly with that last sentence.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Austin Booker is definitely not unreliable. I think we're waiting to see if the success he had at the end of last year is going to carry over into this new season coming up. Now, I will also add, don't discount motivated Dio Odengbo, everybody. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Let's move on to USA Today.
Oh, favorite
This
one.
was Nate Davis, NFL draft grades, ranking all 32 teams as 2026 classes, with the lowly Jets earning an A+. I don't know if you needed to add the last part into the actual headline, folks. That could have been a sub-headline, perhaps, but I digress. The Bears are getting one of their worst grades here from USA Today, a C, and they finished 27th out of 32 teams listed.
Oh, it's USA Today. Who cares?
It is, but nevertheless, we're going to read it anyway.
Okay.
Meh? Question mark? They've been working their board for weeks, including exporting DJ Moore to Buffalo for a second rounder. GM Ryan Poles maneuvered around further through the weekend. Yet it doesn't feel like the reigning NFC North champs came away with anyone aside from first-round safety Dillon Thieneman, who will make much of an impact in 2026. Highly disagree.
That is one big pile of shit.
Second-round center Logan Jones is undersized, but could get a redshirt year before he has to assume a starting role. And it is generally hard to quibble with Iowa O-linemen. That's all he had to say about the Bears draft class. No mention of the fact that two of the defensive picks in round 4 and 5 were on a lot of people's top 100 draft boards, where the Bears got really exceptional deep value in this draft. No mention of Sam Roush, the tight end that is the best blocking tight end, who went to Stanford, by the way. A smart kid, not a dumb kid.
Yeah.
I think that he severely sells this Bears draft class very short.
It's a damn shame. A damn shame.
It seems that way with the little blip that he wrote.
Especially about Logan Jones being undersized. You know, if you look at his RAS score, his relative athletic score, everybody, he has all green on his card. You know what's red? His height and weight. Everything else checks out, though.
Well,
and that tells me that he just didn't do his homework. He looked at some measurements on a box and was like, well, I don't like that. I mean,
he didn't do any of his
this
homework.
guy won the award for best offensive center in all of college football last year,
it's
folks.
USA Today. What did you expect?
Trash.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Moving on to the nerds, everybody. It is Pro Football Focus 2026 NFL draft grades for all 32 teams. And they gave the Chicago Bears a B, the highest graded pick they gave to safety Dillon Thieneman. And now they also ranked us 27 out of 32 teams, which is not different from USA Today, but a B is a lot better than a C. So they were much kinder to us as far as a letter grade goes. They did a really big deep dive here on almost every single one of the Chicago Bears draft picks here. So if you are interested in reading what they had to say about every single one of these picks, make sure you go to their website and check it out. But just know that the nerds, everybody, gave us a B.
The Bears.
All right, Nico. Well, those were the grades from the mainstream media. And as you can see, it looks like we landed about on an average of a B. So the Bears not getting a lot of hate, not getting a lot of love, just kind of landing in the middle. I wanted to move on to a mainstream media prediction I saw, and this came in a ESPN article, and it was written by Jordan Reed and Matt Miller on April 26th, the morning after the final day of the draft, and it said 2026 NFL Draft, best picks, trades, QB fits, and predictions. And all the way down at the bottom, the very, very bottom, the last little nugget said, make one prediction about this class for 5 years from now. And Matt Miller had a Bears logo next to his name, and this is what it had to say. The 2026 class will be the one that puts the Bears over the top and into a Super Bowl.
The Bears.
Quarterback Caleb Williams is the main reason for the Bears' success, but adding safety Dillon Thieneman and cornerback Malik Muhammad satisfies huge needs in the secondary, while center Logan Jones will be Williams' new best friend and bodyguard. That's it. That's the prediction, but Matt Miller with some really high, lofty expectations for this Bears draft class. I want to also point out the praise for Logan Jones here versus what we just read in USA Today, about him being undersized and potentially, a redshirted freshman year pro.
Is that prediction for Super Bowl, is that coming this year or it's
it says 5 years from now,
okay,
but I think all they're trying to say is that the foundation is being laid for bigger things down the road. 5 years is a long way from now to predict, but nevertheless, I think a lot of Bears fans, if you told them the Bears were going to win the Super Bowl 5 years from now and this draft class was going to be a part of the reason why, they would be like, okay, I'll take it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
And one last thing I want to get to before we get out of here is our guy, Colin Cowherd, who was on his show today, of course, The Herd with Colin Cowherd. And he says that you have to trust Ben Johnson. Let's take a listen to a couple clips I pulled. Let's start with clip 1.
Everybody's like, a tight end, where are the rush ends? Okay. So what you know with Ben Johnson, and I think it's pretty clear, is that he has a lot of power in the organization. And he is able to draft and develop players very quickly in his offensive system. We've seen this now last year, and you're going to see it again. So when I look at the Bears, Ben Johnson's vision is how they're drafting. And they also drafted high character guys that did not get banged up in college. That also matters to the Bears. So the one that got criticized was Sam Roush, the tight end. And I look at it and I think, no, that's what McVay would do. Sam Roush is arguably the best blocking tight end in the draft. Smart kid, Stanford. He is going to make the Bears able to play more 13 personnel. They're already top 5 in the league. That's McVay. That McVay runs that 13 personnel more than anybody in the league. And the Bears have Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet. Now they add an elite day one, elite blocker at tight end to run more 13 personnel. So people bang on this move. That's what a McVay would do.
The things that stand out to me, Ben Johnson has a lot of power in the Bears organization. I agree 100% with this.
Yes.
And people that are saying that this is Ryan Poles' draft and that he's responsible for these picks, you're talking out of the wrong foot of your mouth. I got to tell you that.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
You look no further than who's making the most money. And look at the wording that Ryan Poles himself used. Like the way he speaks, they're looking for what Ben Johnson's looking for. And he says they were very clear. The staff was very clear about what they want.
Yes,
so that tells you that Ryan Poles is shopping for other people.
Yeah, Ben Johnson came in, gave him a list of players or attributes the players had or have, and go find me these guys. That's what I'm looking for.
He writes here, Ben Johnson's vision is how they're drafting.
Yes.
And I just want to add to this. Ben Johnson was not satisfied at all with the Bears offense last year, even though they were much improved. And the biggest reason why they probably got as far into the playoffs as they did was because of their offensive improvements. But let's be real here. Ben Johnson feels like they left a lot of points out on the field last year, and he's looking to rectify that. He's a madman. He's crazy. He wants to score 40 to 50 points a game.
Hell yeah!
The Bears also took high-character, injury-free draft picks, according to Colin here. And it's another thing I noted. The injury-free thing is huge. You know, you saw what happened to the Tennessee cornerback who had the knee plug. Poor kid. But, I mean, it's life. And I would rather have injury-free players coming out of college.
Would I have preferred they drafted a defensive end or a rush end? Absolutely. But Howie Roseman says this all the time. He's the GM of Philadelphia. And he's considered the best GM in the league. He always says, if I went into the draft and filled every hole, we probably didn't have a good draft. Why? Because you didn't stick to the process. You didn't stick to the board. Like there are teams, the Niners, I'll get to that later, that I think reach. They're trying to fit stuff into Kyle Shanahan's scheme, and they reach. Like Howie Roseman's stay to your board. Never forget, the draft is just one element of personnel. There are trades, there are acquisitions, there are undrafted free agents.
And a little bit of a shorter clip here, but as you can hear, stick to your board. Howie Roseman, he brings up his name from Philadelphia. This is his famous quote about the NFL draft, and I feel like, you know, it's not bad advice at all.
This is just the beginning.
We just don't know how different teams are ranking these players internally for what they want, for what Ben Johnson wants. You know, I want to talk about Xavier Thomas, the wide receiver that we drafted from LSU in round 3. I think this kid is going to turn some heads and be one of the most unexpected surprises of this draft class for the Bears, not only in the punt return game, but just in his ability to also stretch the field.
The Bears. The Bears.
I would give the Bears an A in this draft, actually, because I like the body types that they drafted. Nobody talks about that in any of these reviews. Did you notice that?
I noticed that.
The Bears had one of the highest graded draft classes of all time in terms of athleticism and physicality and attributes.
Yes.
They didn't have the results on the field yet.
Sorry, it will not be the talking points. That's why they cannot talk about it.
But, a year from now, everyone's going to go like,
Exactly.
wow, the Bears
How did
draft
this
class
happen?
came out of nowhere. That's amazing. These guys know how to find talent, everybody.
How
And you
did
know what's
this
going to happen
happen?
2-3 years from now, folks? Mark my words, is that the NFL teams, not all of them, but some of them, are going to start to model their team and their rebuilds off of what the Bears started doing last year and into this year.
Yeah.
Mark
Copy league.
my words, especially when we start putting up 35 to 40 points a game this year. How do you like them apples?
I like him. All right.
All right, everybody, let us know what you gave the Bears as a grade for the draft this year. I'm going with an A, a solid A, because of the physical attributes and the body types. But what do you guys think?
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below. You know the drill. And we will see you very soon with some more draft content and more Bears content. Stay tuned.